Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to another live stream. Hi Varun, hi Meghdeep, and let's get with start with the stream. A very bad game week to begin with, honestly. Yes, fantasy penalty league. That's what people are calling it. 20 penalties are given away already in 26 matches, and it is honestly becoming irritating at the moment. But we'll get to all of that points. Let's go through my team. The only clean sheet that we got was through Martinez. I think it was a good call to go Martinez over the other 4.5 keepers. I feel like Martinez will do well the entire season. It looked like it was a very good call. Then we had Robertson. Again, a lot of wild cards did not have the Liverpool defenders, and I had been talking about Robertson a better pick than Trent in specifically context to scoring goals, and that proved out to be correct as well. If anyone had seen the match, you could have clearly seen that Robertson was getting inside the box a lot more than Trent, and he had more opportunities to score as well. So I feel even if you have the wild card right now, and if you want to pick, go Robertson over Trent. There is a high chance that Trent will give an assist almost every week, and Robertson might not score, but Robertson still has the higher ceiling. Moving on, we have Saiz, who's a disappointment. Wolves, a complete disappointment. Chelsea, a disaster. 1 point from region. That to a bonus point. That was somewhat shocking because I didn't expect with that performance to him get a bonus point. In midfield, Rodriguez again was shocking. He did not step up to take the penalty which we expected. Wood comes on for Podence. Podence was a very late call. I think we got the information before the deadline on the stream, but again it was too rash a move to decide for Foden. Anyways, would have been a waste. I think if Podence is back for the Fulham game, I would happily have him in my team. De Bruyne a fail. Leicester did turn out to be very good for Manchester City. Mo Salah did give an assist, and he was my captain. So I feel like Mo Salah did turn out to be a very good captain pick after all the options failing. I think Son failed for 1 point, De Bruyne 2, Werner 2, Jimenez 0. Kane luckily did end up having 5 points, but then again, I did not have the money for going Kane. Wood again a disappointment. He had a couple of chances but couldn't capitalize. Werner, a complete atrocious performance by him. He was hugging the wide line too much, and I felt that he did not get a lot of chances by the Chelsea midfield. Jimenez again, he was accredited the last goal as an own goal to him, so again he got negative points for it, and then we are back to zero. Lamptey played a very good role in the Brighton defense. I think Lamptey is a must for everyone who's watching and is going wildcard. Go Lamptey without a doubt. I think he's 4.5. The only problem is that Bayern Munich are now bidding for Lamptey at 25 million. So there's a chance that Lamptey goes to Bayern before the window closes. So that's something you want to watch out for. But then if Lamptey does stay at Brighton, I think he's the best player from the lot. And moving on to transfers, I already made one transfer, guys. I couldn't resist keeping Vernon out of my team, and I think the best way to go about was get an Everton attacker, be it Richarlison, be it Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You have to have one of them in your team. I've gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think he's getting way more chances than any other attacker at the moment. If he capitalizes, he could have an hat trick last match as well. So don't miss out. Even if he doesn't perform, his overall ownership is about 35%, and he is still consistent. So you don't want to miss out points very early right now. Werner was a bad call, says Jack. Atish says Werner out. Dion says Lamptey to bind. Yes, exactly what I said. Uh, total points were around 166, I think, if I'm not wrong. Make the taking out Werner and Marshall from my team. Adams is my third. That does really need a lot of backing up. Make the get in the likes. I think for expensive players, you want to look out for Vardy. If you want to go budget, there's Bamford is a very good option. I feel like Bamford is overperforming his XG, but then again, he's getting those chances to do so. Even the goal was a very good cross, but apart from that, in the entire match I saw, he was getting a couple of chances where he could have scored. So Bamford is a decent shout at 5.8, I think, right now. In the budget you have Ings and Jimenez. Jimenez did not perform really well, but again they have Fulham next, who are the worst at the moment, and I expect to Wolves to bounce back with Podence back into the team. Do you think Fulham will wake up against Wolves? I don't think they'll wake up against Wolves. They were trying their best on the attack, but again their defense is atrocious as usual. They were this bad even in 2018. They're that bad in 2020 as well. So the defense would not improve. Their attack was decent. They had 16 total chances on the Aston Villa goal. I think they could have capitalized. The only problem is that the only target man is Mitrovic, and apart from that, they have no one to score those goals. So Aston Villa knew what they had to do. They were just defending around Mitrovic, and then Mitrovic could not score. I think he hit the post once, but then bar once, but then that was not enough. Varun says Werner to Ings for you. I think I'm not going Ings. I yes, Southampton did score. Ings did score, but if you look at the entire match and statistics, Burnley were way better than the Southampton team, and I think Southampton did get only one big chance which they scored. So I would still prefer Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think at the moment it is very essential to have that Everton asset in your team. Rodriguez, yes, he's playing amazing football, but again, at FPL point of view, he's not performing. I had a strong feeling of backing myself up that he'll get those penalties. If he had those penalties, I would back up James Rodriguez an equal asset to Calvert Lewin. But then again, without penalties, you don't want to own an asset who's giving an assist to the assister. So yes, Rodriguez in my team at the moment only because his price is rising. Once he's done with that after the international break, I think I'm gonna move to Sun if he's fit, or maybe I'll have to look at the likes of Mahrez or Foden. Werner to Vardy is a very good option. We discussed in the live stream on the deadline. I think it's a really good option. Just wait out for a transfer you guys are making right now. Wait out till Friday. I feel like there's going to be a lot of injury problems that can happen during the midweek. I think there are Europa qualifiers. They have the Carabao Cup, and Vardy does have a hip problem which he's been carrying for 2 weeks now. So you want, especially for Vardy, wait till Friday. I would say wait till Saturday until unless we have concrete news of him starting. Wait to bring him in your team. City possibly could go mad against Leeds. They could. I think Leeds were playing way much attacking football against Sheffield. Sheffield did have a really good chance in terms of Lundstrom. I think Lundstrom should have scored that goal. He had a very open chance and he hit the ball directly to the keeper. I mean, it was a point blank chance and he should have scored. So I think the attacker in terms of Sterling could get a lot of chances against Leeds. But then again, City are being unpredictable. The two penalties they gave away were very bad. I feel like they could have done better and not given away those penalties. But then again, Leicester outplayed them very smartly. Will Justin start in the coming weeks? If yes, for how many weeks? I think Ricardo Pereira is back on the pitch. He's training. He has an individual program going on at the moment. I could see Justin starting the next one, which is game week 4. At max, game week 5. And then game week 6, he should be out. Chelsea midfielders, when Pulisic and Ziyech are back, fixtures look crazy. I would stay away from the Chelsea attack at the moment because I have no idea when they're back. I think Lampard has been bluffing around with the injury because Pulisic is still not available for game week 4. Ziyech is still out for game week 5. There are chances both of them do not play in game week 5 as well. So I think staying away at the moment is the better option. Let them perform. Let's see how they perform with all the entire team back. Possibly, I feel like the Havertz option is the best option from the midfield because he's going to play in that number 10 role. He's going to get inside the box, and he was actually controlling a lot of the game. Werner again next week. There's no winger. There's no Pulisic back. So again, if you have Werner, don't hold on to him because he's going to drift wide again onto the left, and there's a possibility he does not get as many as shots that you want him to get as a striker. Jimenez to Richarlison. I would say hold on to Jimenez. There's no desperate need to go to Richarlison because both of them take penalties anyways. And I think Fulham fixture is much better to Wolves than when you compare to Brighton for Everton. For Wolves, who will be dropped now that Samedo is here? I think they're going to play 3-4-3 and Samedo in the midfield. But if you look at the game, Samedo was not that impressive. He took a knock. I feel like Samedo will be fit for the Game Week 4 match. But then again, as expected, he did not gel in that well. And then that's the reason you want to avoid new players at the very start. Sterling as a false nine was painful to us. His record as a false nine was not anyways great, but then he's better off on the left wing. He cuts and takes a lot of shots. But as a false nine, I expect Foden to get much more attacking, and then if you have Foden, you probably hold on to him because he's a better asset to hold on than Sterling. For everyone who tripled up on City, it was a bad game. Honestly, don't feel too disappointed because you know the City attack will come back strong in the next couple of game weeks and they'll score a lot of goals. So you know the points are going to come in the upcoming game weeks and you don't need to transfer a lot in that segment. Walker Peters, Lamptey, or James Justin for the next three fixtures. I think Lamptey is a better option. If you ask me fixtures that could be tricky, I think Lamptey does face Everton and then Crystal and West Brom. I still stick to Lamptey. Decent fixture, Crystal and West Brom. I don't expect them to score against Brighton at the moment. Son to Barnes is a very good option. Barnes does look attacking. His record against West Ham is amazing. But the West Ham performance that they put against Wolves was really exceptional. I mean, I didn't expect West Ham to actually keep a clean sheet against Wolves. I mean, they can score goals on their attack. We know that they have Antonio, Bowen, Suchek, everyone's attacking and get it inside the box. But then again, to keep a clean sheet against a side like Wolves was really amazing. Uh, it could be a very tough match against Leicester. I would not heavily invest, but Barnes to Sun at the moment looks good. Wait for the Sun move because I think in the next 48 hours at max we'll get news on Sun. So if Sun is back after just after the international break, you might want to hold on to him. But if you ask me personally, I would recommend you to transfer him out because a 9 million player on the bench does not suit. Again, when he comes back, he might not hit the peak form right away. So for me, it's a sell at the moment, irrespectively if he's back for Game Week 5 or not. Best bargains at the moment, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a decent bargain. Burke does seem a very good bargain. He was in very good positions against Leeds last match, and he'll eventually bag a couple of goals. So you need to have Burke at 5.5 in your team. Then Bamford is a very good bargain. I'm not sure if he's 5.8 or 5.7. He's 5.8, very good bargain to be honest. And Lamptey at 4.6, he's still a very good bargain. Get him in your team, guys, if you haven't. Uh, Actually, hold on to because if he gets transferred out to Bayern, then there's no point. But if he stays, then Lamptey is a very good bargain as well. If you've seen the match against United, he was inside the box on a cross twice on two occasions where he could have scored. So that's how attacking he's playing. On the counter attacks, he's ahead of Mope at times, and you know he'll get those chances to score those tap ins at times. Mitchell Taylor or Helder Costa. I think Mitchell is in defense is a very good option. Helder Costa was looking decent, but then again, I am not sure which player will definitely definitely score from Leeds. If you have the option, go for Bamford because he was the most involved in the game. But in the midfield, then you know that Harrison, Costa, Klitsch all get a lot of opportunities to cross and shoot. So you do not have a guarantee that this particular player will get points gaming in and out. Triple City. Leeds next, saving transfer this game. Team looks mad good. I think for people who have Werner or Son, I think prefers give preference to Son out and save Werner for a game week because it's not that bad fixture against Crystal at home, especially because it's at home. And if you don't have Son and you only have Werner in your team and no other fires to put out, then you can probably look at Werner out. In my team, I've particularly gotten Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If there is a need, I feel like taking a -4, then I might go Rodriguez to Barnes, but I don't feel it's really required because then there's no guarantee that Barnes will score a hat trick or a brace. As From my side, I think like it's going to be a low scoring game, so I'm going to hold on to Rodriguez for another game, and then probably after the international break, once the transfer window is closed, I have a lot of money in the bank. I have 2.6, can bring in the likes of Bruno, Rashford, Son, Havertz, anyone I like. Who's the best goalkeeper at 4 million? Kiran, who is your main keeper? Be it Pickford, Martinez, Ryan. Get the second keeper from that team. Castani or Robertson. I feel Robertson is a very essential player. Castani has been amazing as well. But then you look at the Liverpool team, they've been consistent throughout as well, and they're going to be consistent for the entire league. So you know that the Liverpool team will get those odd clean sheets and those odd goals from Robertson as well. So you want to have a player from a team which is very consistent. Castani was very good as well. If you ask me, I would pick him over the likes of Samedo, definitely at the moment. Wolves' defense might be an out option from game week 5 or 6 for me because if they don't get a clean sheet in the next two games, which is Fulham and I think they play Leeds in one of those fixtures, they play Leeds and Newcastle next. So if they don't get a clean sheet in the next 2 or 3 games, I feel like you need to move on from the Wolves' defense because they've not been defensively that strong as they were last season. From Castani and Robertson, go Robertson. If you want to go any other premium midfield, even over Digne and Coleman, I would pick Castania. Mitrovic or Bamford any day. I think the Fulham attack is not that intriguing to prefer Mitrovic. Yes, he's the penalty taker for Fulham, but do you see Fulham getting a lot of penalties? That's a tricky question to be honest. I feel like Bamford will score a lot more goals than Mitrovic this season. Martinez or Pope, go Martinez, go cheap, save that 1 million and invest it in the midfielder attack. Hey FPL tips, we had a talk. Actually, credits to FPL tips. He's the guy who put out the information about Podens just before the deadline. If we had a bit of more insight about it, probably would have transferred him out. But I think if he's fit back for game week 4, sorry, if he's back in training till then, and if he's playing against Fulham, I feel like it's a much better option. Have you activated your wildcard? John Wick, I activated my wildcard in Game Week 3. So this is exactly my wildcard team, and it was an atrocious Game Week, to be honest. It was very bad. 38 points. You don't expect that. Actually, Robertson and Salah saved the game week for me. 10 points each, and Martin has 16. Glitch just penalties you. Yes, if you want to go 5.5 over Potence, go for Glitch. I think he's on penalties. He's definitely on penalties, but then if you want to go someone less attacking than Potence, then go Glitch. Mane or Salah? A very good question. Connor Topping says, I would prefer Salah. He has the highest number of shots inside the box. He, in fact, has higher number of shots inside the box than the entire West Brom team. That's how high he's taking those shots. That's how he greedy is at the moment. You will definitely see him scoring a lot of goals in the upcoming games. Yes, Mane does look to have a lot of chances, but then Salah has been playing exceptional. Also, the fact that price is the same and Salah is on penalties. The number of penalties being given out in Premier League this season has been very high, and you know that Liverpool will get those penalties as well. So probably at the same price, go for Salah. FPL tips. Varun says, your take on Wood for game next two game weeks and then move on to Mitro or Bamford or someone else. I think I'm going to hold on to Wood for the next two. Very sure about that. But then I'm looking at the likes of Antonio as well because West Ham does have a fixture change at that moment. Bamford is the second option I'm looking at. Mitrovic is not in my watch list at the moment. It's between Antonio and Bamford. Might move to Bamford if I have a better option. If I find someone much better, then we'll look at that. But at the moment, it's between Bamford and Antonio. My main keeper is McCarthy. Second game week from Southampton. Take the second keeper from Southampton. Just double up on your keepers, but just in case your main keeper misses out, then your backup keeper is from the same team, and then you do not have to waste a transfer for that position. Taking Barnes for Son, Barnes looks like a very good option. Out of the options from Rodriguez, Barnes, and Zaha, I would go Barnes because of his form and fixtures, then Rodriguez and then Zaha. FPL Tips says, haha, nice stream. Sorry, I can't stick around to watch as I'm streaming with the winner FPL. Yes, you are. For the people who want to, Josh Bull is on his stream. He's going to stream at 8 p.m. BST, I think. So, you guys want to join in, you can watch out for that as well. Dr. Swan says his Podence playing. He'll be training this week, so he should be fit to start next one. I think I want to hold on to him. If you have him, hold on to him. Ben Johnson, another 4 million decent option now that Fredericks is out for 4 weeks. Yes, but I think the 4 weeks is probably game week 4 and 5. That's it. Then you because you have the international break in between, so the 4 weeks will fly off very easily. Don't waste a transfer on that. I feel like Fredericks will be back soon around game week 6. Mitrovic, Adams, or Richarlison? Richarlison, I think switch Adams to Richarlison. Or probably give Adams another chance against the West Brom defense. There is a chance that he might score, but later on, then he faces Chelsea. Tough call. I would still move on Adams to Richarlison. I don't see Adams scoring a lot of goals. He's been really poor at finishing. He's getting a lot of chances. If he capitalizes, he would have been scoring at least a goal each game week. But then again, his poor finishing is dragging him back. Lamptey or Taylor for game week 4? Lamptey. I feel like Lamptey is a much more long term move. John Wick. This is my team. Should I activate my wild card? Ryan, Trent, Kyle Walker, Peter, Justin, Mitchell, Ferguson, Salah Havertz, Kevin De Bruyne, ASM, Burke, Mitrovic, Werner, Marshall. I think there are a lot of fires to put out. In particular, Ferguson is a waste of a spot. He's not guaranteed to start, but not guaranteed to be back as well. Probably Havertz 50-50 call if you want to hold in to him. ASM is a problem. Werner, Marshall, and Mitrovic. The attack does look a bit weak because you have the likes of Ings, Jimenez, Vardy. You have the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. You want those guys in your attack. Bamford as well. DCL for Werner. That's the move I made. Path Satav. Probably you want to make that move as well. Just give it a thought. Look at the underlying stats for Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin both, because then you have the fact that Richarlison is on penalties. So consider that move, but get in either of Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin at the moment. Even I have a strong feeling that both of them will blank against Brighton. I can guarantee you this, that both of them will blank against Brighton, because I have a strong feeling regarding it. And that's been the season. I mean, the players which you expect to score the most against teams, and they've been blanking a lot. So at the trend, if you look at the trend, it feels like if I get in Calvert Lewin, he'll blank for sure. So watch out for that. But apart from that, do get those Everton assets, because on the long term, he's the highest scorer in the league at the moment. So in the long term, he's going to score goals. When do you think Pulisic and Ziyech will be back? There's no confirmation from Chelsea. I mean, Pulisic should be back, should have been back by game week 4, but again, he's not been training. Ziyech not before game week 6. Pulisic should be back by then as well. Should I sell or keep should I keep Rodriguez or sell him? Path, keep him for the Brighton game. Don't take a hit to remove him, especially for Barnes. Your team looks similar to mine. Don't take a hit to remove him. Remove him after the international break because that's when the transfer window is closed. You know that these are the set players who will be playing, so that gives you a lot of room to move around with the team. Who's the second keeper from Southampton? I think it's Foster. Gunn is not the second keeper anymore. A suggestion: if you don't have Son or Werner, save your transfer and go to the international break with two free transfers considering injury and COVID. Thanks for that suggestion. That's completely true. Especially don't take a hit before the international break because you need that points, especially in a low scoring game like a game week like this. If you had not taken a hit, you still would have had a decent score. So don't take a hit, especially for game week 4. Stick with your team, have faith in it. Probably will be a good game week after a very bad game week for everyone. So yeah, especially for the likes of Rodriguez and Jimenez and probably Wood if you have him. Podence, don't sell them. The only files you might be looking at to put off is at the moment is Sun and Werner. Keep Kane. If you have him, hold on to him because without Sun, there's a chance that he'll not be that attacking. But then penalty comes in as a factor. So hold on to his game against Manchester United. Later on, let's see how they perform in the midweek as well. We'll get a better idea, especially tonight against Chelsea. Captain Salah or Kevin De Bruyne. That's the captaincy choice between in my mind as well. I think Aston Villa will defend a lot. It looks like a game for Mane more than Salah. I'm really tempted to go Salah as well, but I think I'm going to incline towards Kevin De Bruyne by the end. Also, we might have a special guest coming on the deadline stream this week. So if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, do it and follow us on Instagram. You'll be notified whenever there's a live stream beforehand as well. Arman says Fernandino 5.5 has played most Manchester City defender. Would be cheap good source. No, I'll tell you why Fernandino is not cheap. He's been playing in the defensive midfield role. He'll not get as many shots as you want. Rodri is much more attacking, by the way. Secondly, you don't get clean sheets defense, despite of him being playing as a defensive role. So at 5.5, you want a player who will be attacking a lot. Glitch is taking penalties. Podence is a very attacking player. So look at those two players. Suchek is again a very good option. Again, I've been saying this the entire season at the moment. If you have Suchek or if you have budget constraints about 5.3 in the bank, go for Suchek. Don't overthink too much. He'll not score every week, but then he'll score those odd goals because West Ham are very good inside the box. Dr. Swan says, thanks, banking on transfer for international duty, and thanks for the advice. No problem, John Wick. Aryan says, take Sun out for a 4 -4 hit. That's a tough one because, again, you have no guarantee to get a chance. I think wait for the injury news. If he's out for more than 5 weeks, which is after game week 5 as well, then take him out for a hit because then again you don't want 9 millions getting benched on in your team. I own both Lamptey and Taylor. Taylor playing Newcastle could get a clean sheet and maybe an assist. I think if you have both, then play Taylor because there's a high chance that they get a clean sheet. Lamptey against Everton will be a tough one because if you saw the game, I'll do the analysis after this segment where I'll be looking at the fixture. But then Brighton were really open at the back as well. The only good thing was that United are very poor at the moment. Three players you feel will get double digit hauls this week. Three players. We'll keep that question, Varun, when we discuss the game before fixtures. Oh, hold on. Just remind me about that question later on. Jagriti Ajay Desai says, whom can I replace Werner? I've got DCL and Jimenez. Should I save my transfer? No, I think if you have Sun, then use it on Sun. If you still want to remove Werner, go for Ings against West Brom. Decent shout. If not, you can go for Vardy if he's fit. Saiz or Castagna. At the moment, Castagna looks like a better option. FPL tips says, Varun, should we play FPL? We are planning to play FPL draft in the international break. So you again want to subscribe and not miss on to that fun as well. Should I get Bruno Fernandes considering he's already 20 penalties this season, considering 200 to come? Sorry for the laughter, and I feel like that's something we should really consider. United getting a penalty after the whistle has been blown. But again, Moped did put out his hand, and it was a penalty for sure. But United will get a lot of penalties. If you have the budget and want to invest on such a player, then go for it because again, he's been averaging decent about 6 points per week. So you want to hold on to that asset for penalties, especially. Big Man says Leeds, despite their recent clean sheets, are second worst for XG, big chances considered. Will have played a game less, but fare best in the league for the same two stats. I think that's the exact stat I looked at before deciding my captain. But again, I am inclined on Kevin De Bruyne right now. So hopefully we stick on to the captain. But I've been nailing on the captain for a while now. At least Salah did provide an assist in comparison to Kevin De Bruyne, who scored two, and Son, who scored one. Odyssey Daga says, which United asset would you suggest? If you want, go for Bruno Fernandes for sure, because you know he's going to get penalties for sure. So don't miss out on that. If you want any United assets, definitely go for Bruno Fernandes. Pep will want a reaction. That's what we expected last season again, but then Pep did not react at all. It was a very boring 2-0 game once they lost against Bournemouth last season. I don't expect a comeback, but let's see how it goes. They have a midweek fixture as well. Varun says he got the Liverpool Arsenal prediction correct. We'll be declaring the winner and DMing him. Don't worry, guys. We've not seen the list as well. A lot of people got it correct, so it's going to be chosen at random. Yash Verma says Justin or Taylor who to play. I think I've answered this. Play Taylor because he has a higher chance to keep a clean sheet. West Ham are attackingly looking good, and Leicester have considered a lot of shots against Burnley as well. I don't see them defensively setting up defensively against West Ham the way they like set up against City. So there's a chance that they leak a goal. Probably Taylor against Newcastle is a better shout. Aryan says if I take a Son, then which player should I bring in? If you don't have any money in your bank, then probably look at the likes of Barnes, Rodriguez, and Zaha in that particular order, where Barnes is first. And then if you have certain amount of money, might want to look at Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. Obviously, because of the penalty factors, Bruno is much more preferred. If you want to take a very good punt, then Havertz is a very good option. Still decent option in my opinion. Has been performing decent the entire season at the moment. He'll get more assists and goals. I feel that like they're coming probably more than for Werner as well. So if you want to take a punt, go Havertz. Any news on United and City's double game week? Not at the moment. I think the double game week could have been set up in game week 4, which is not happening at the moment. The other options are game week 14, game week 18, and 19. So we'll probably get the news later on, not at the moment. But those are the three game weeks which have been targeted. It is highly expected to be between 14 and 19, not 18. 18 game week 18 is going to be a blank game week. Any news of United and I think I've answered that. Jimenez or Ings are very tough. I think Jimenez has more shots inside the box and shots on target. Both for Jimenez and Ings, I think the big chances are same, but the expected goals are higher for Jimenez. And also they face the Fulham defense and a decent fixture after that as well. Fulham have been defensively bad, yes, and Leeds are second on the worst on expected goal conceded, which are the two next fixtures for Wolves. So probably bank your money on Jimenez. He's also on penalties. Uh, Southampton did score goals and they're scoring odd goals, but then they're not creating clear cut and a lot of chances for Ings. I think Ings is overperforming a lot like he did last season. He's taking that one odd chance that Southampton create for himself, him, and then he's scoring that. So probably bank Jimenez. Kanishka says Bamford, Kane, Calvert Lewin, James, Kevin De Bruyne, Mane, Zaha, Trent, Justin, Konsa, McCarthy for this week. It looks like a good team. I don't see a lot of changes to be made in that team. I don't really trust Zaha, so probably you want to take Zaha to Barnes maybe, but then if you trust Zaha, then you can go for it. Again, for a lot of people, Zaha might not be the first penalty taker. A lot of people are thinking that Zaha took the penalty, he scored it. But remember, Ayu took it first, Ayu missed it, and that's the reason Zaha got it. If Ayu did score it, I don't see why Ayu should be replaced by Zaha at the moment. It could be Zaha, but I feel like Ayu will be the first choice, and we know Milojevic and Patrick Van Aanholt are better options when it comes to penalty for Crystal Palace. Captain James or Richarlison? If you have to captain Richarlison, much more chances on penalties. Guys, we've 24 people watching and only 4 people have liked the stream. Make sure you leave a like before you leave at least. Take Jimenez in for Mitrovic. That's a -4 hit, or should I take anyone else? Probably Jimenez if you want to take a -4 because then you get a lot of more game weeks to cover up those -4 points. Worst performance from Chelsea? Yes, first I feel like it was the worst performance by our left back Alonso. I think there were two direct goals that we considered because of him. Klitsch and Lamptey for game week 3. Who do you bench? I would bench Klitsch for sure. Liverpool is the last game. You always want to keep a captain in the last game, correct? I think, but the fact I that's another factor. But I think Villa are defending really well. I think they're going to put in a lot of effort in that game, and it's going to be tough. So and they have not conceded a goal in the entire season at the moment. They've played only two matches, but that's another factor, and they'll be high on confidence for that. So probably want to attack the weaker side. Okay, we'll move on to the next segment where we discuss. Should we discuss Game Week 3 first, or should we discuss the fixtures for Game Week 4 first? Best midfielder between 5 to 6. I still feel Portens is the best midfielder. If you're transferring him in, then wait for the injury news. But I still feel if he's starting, he's the best one. Okay, let's not discuss says Varun Game Week 3. Okay, I'll discuss some important points from Game Week 3, which I feel that which will help you make a couple of decisions from game week 3. Just a couple of points. First point from Brighton and Manchester United was that Brighton were really open on the counter attack. If you see, there was a lot of space on the left bank, especially when Lamptey is pushing ahead. So it could be a game where Richarlison gets a diagonal from James Rodriguez and he gets a chance to score. That's one thing I noticed in the Brighton United game. Nothing much. I think Trossard was very unlucky. A lot of people on the deadline stream asked me about Trossard, but I was not really convinced with his finishing. And then we clearly saw that. But Trossard at 6 million is a decent option if someone wants to invest in the Brighton attack. Apart from that, the Manchester United attack is at the moment something you want to avoid, especially apart from Bruno because of the penalties. Martial did not have any convention in his play. Definitely an avoid for me, and then Rashford as well. Gavin says Werner to Vardy or Mitrovic to Jimenez. If I do both, it will be a -8. Don't take a -8 for sure. Should I do one, and if yes, which one? That's a tough one. Probably give Werner a chance. I feel like Mitrovic to Jimenez will be high ceiling, much more high ceiling because Vardy hasn't been that attackingly great apart from the penalties. If you see the stat he posted, he's taking only one shot, which is inside the box, which is not target, but that's the only one shot he's taken from open play, obviously. Coming to Crystal Palace Everton, James is putting great balls inside the box as usual. Dine is very attacking. Richard, there's a lot of attack from the left flank. There's barely any attack from the right. I think they're doing the very conventional and slotty thing where they're flooding in the defenders on the right, using pushing out players from them. I think Ducour is on the right, James goes on the right, then Coleman on the right. So there are a lot of players congested in that area, and then they switch the ball to the left flank, which opens up a lot of space for Dine and Richarlison. So this could be a factor where which comes in against Brighton. Apart from that, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still getting a lot of chances inside the box. He should have finished at least one more on the corner set piece, which they did. And apart from that, there's nothing much to talk about Everton. I feel like they're still not the side which will keep a lot of clean sheets. If you have Digne, probably downgrade him to Castagna soon because I still don't feel very secure about the Everton defense. Pickford has been poor. He performed poor against Crystal as well. Aditya says, should I remove Werner and Greenwood? Don't remove both. If you have Greenwood, hold on to him. He played a decent game, to be honest. Werner might be the move you want to do this week. If you don't have Son, obviously. Abhishek says, Podden Zaha for Saint and Castagna / Mitchell for Doherty. I think Podden, if he's fit over Zaha for sure for me, I feel like he's much more attacking than Zaha. And as a team as well, Wolves are attacking more than Crystal Palace. Castagna for Doherty looks like a good move. Broody says Kane and Wood to Ings and Richarlison. I have no Everton, so I feel like Kane to Richarlison is a priority move. Don't take a hit if you are moving out Wood to Ings. I would not do that. Uh, Richarlison is a better option than Ms. Rodriguez if you're going for someone right now. Don't take a -8. If it's a -4, you probably want to hold on to Wood. Go Kane and Richarlison. Play James Justin or Podence. One's got to be benched. That's a tough one. I would play Podence if he's 100% fit. If you know that he's going to start for sure. If there's a news put up out on a story or something like that. If there is a 50-50 doubt, then don't probably play Podence and take the risk. Aditya says there are only two kinds of problem in my team, Greenwood and Werner. Should I replace them? What about Podence and Lamptey, Reece James and Saiz? Who to start? I think start Saiz, Reece James and Lamptey. All are good to start. If you had to bench someone, Lamptey would be the choice I would do. Uh, Unless Reece James starts and plays 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup tonight. If that is something that happens, then I'll post it on the story and it's something to watch out for, obviously, because then there's going to be a rotation on the FPA Premier League game. Whole Greenwood, I think he played really nice. 7.5, you don't want to transfer him out. Werner looks like a particular option that you want to transfer out. Noob says, bro, Bruno for Son and Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Martial. I'll be saving around 5 million. Yes, it sounds good, especially when you're getting penalties from United and you're also recovering the Everton attack. Will Coleman start every game? Yes, I think he will. He'll start about 30 odd games from the 38 games, especially when you have the Christmas congestion. Apart from that, he'll start almost all games. Is Podence fit? He's back in training, so should be back by the weekend. That's what we've got. Hey, just joined. What was today's topic? We were discussing about certain transfers. Eurogamer. We are currently on the topic where we're discussing the game week three takeaway points from the game week three. Okay, coming on to West Brom and Chelsea. The West Brom goals were all Chelsea errors. First, Alonso gave away a header directly to the path of a West Brom player. Secondly, again, he was not defending his marker in the corner. Then you expect them to concede such goals. I feel like when once Chilwell is back, which will be back in tonight's match as well as in game week 4, I don't see that errors happening and Chelsea conceding so much. So probably hold on to Reece James if you have him, and Chilwell if you want to, you can buy him. West Brom again, they're decent attacking wise, but I don't expect them to score 3 goals every game. Probably an odd goal in each game week, but then you do not know who will it come from. Robson Kanu, yes, is a good option, but wouldn't invest in him. Probably would go for Bamford over him. Burnley, Southampton. Burnley were definitely the better team, but then again, they lacked a lot of pace, and their entire attack was dependent on McNeil, who performed really poor. If McNeil could have put in a couple of crosses inside the box with decent crosses, then I think Burnley could have scored. Vidra had a couple of chances where he should have put the ball into the back of the net. Wood scored, but then it was ruled out as offside. So Southampton are still defensively not that convincing against. I think the next game is against West Brom. But I think they could not still keep a clean sheet, and against Chelsea they'll definitely not keep a clean sheet. So still move away from the Southampton defense in my opinion. We've talked about Sheffield and Leeds. Not much to talk about. Leeds were giving away a lot of chances to Sheffield. Sheffield were poor in attack, and that's the reason they could not score. Leeds are good on the counter attack in the later stages of the game, but against City, I don't see them creating a lot of problems for Manchester City. Spurs, Newcastle. Spurs were really unlucky. Son hit the bar twice, so I think Son should have scored at least on one of the occasions. And Kane was again not in central position. He was playing in the more cam position where he's drifting behind, letting Lucas Moura and Son get ahead, and he was also drifting on the left. So again, he's playing in the Werner role that Werner will be playing was playing in Leipzig and might be playing in Chelsea. So don't expect Kane to take a lot of shots, but he's going to put in a lot of crosses for Lucas. If someone wants to go really differential for Son as well, you can go Lucas Moura. It's a decent option, but not advisable because you don't know how consistent Lucas Moura is. Probably avoid Lucas Moura, but if you still want a Tottenham asset, looking at their fixtures, you can go for him. Varun asked thoughts on Burnley defense. Burnley did try to defend a lot. They were convincing. They were controlling a lot of ball. I think once Tarkowski is back, which is after the international break, it will be back and running. I feel like then is when they'll get a lot more clean sheets. Okay, a couple of questions that I missed. I'm thinking of Bamford for an invest in midfield next game week. Uh, you can do that, but then again, probably then hold on to the transfer all by itself because then Bamford has almost zero negligible chance against City to score. Werner still has a chance to score against Crystal. Looking at the trends, I feel like everyone's going to transfer out Werner, and then Werner might end up scoring. So in that situation, Aditya probably hold on to the transfers this week. Robertson for Trent to save 0.5. Abhishek, I've been talking this for the entire season right now, and I still feel Robertson is a much better pick for instead of Trent because he's given the liberty to get inside the box. Definitely save the point 0.5 over him. Should we target Fulham now? I feel like just pick the players who are in form. I feel like the fixtures are not creating a lot of difference at the moment. Pick players who are in form and they are the ones who are performing consistently. So you want to look at the form at the moment over fixtures for sure. Burnley did create a lot more chances than Southampton. If I'm not wrong, Southampton had 5 shots and Burnley had around 16. That's the difference in the play. Southampton had one big chance and Burnley had a couple of big chances. So Burnley are not exactly not creating. They are creating, but they're not clinical. I think McNeil had a very poor game. If he had a decent game, he probably would have scored. Would could have got a better delivery and could have scored. Messilier was pretty good for Leeds. Yes, he's a very good keeper. He's 6'8". He was doing he's pulling off great saves. It's going to be tough for De Bruyne to score a penalty against him. Jimenez captain or Kevin De Bruyne to gain rank. To gain rank, go Jimenez because Kevin De Bruyne will be a very obvious choice in Game Week 4. Should I hold on to Mitro? If it's for a hit, yes. If it's not for a hit, then move on to someone else. Chances of Klitsch getting penalties against City, if Leeds United get a penalty, he'll take one. But then I think Pep will improve on the fact that they gave away two penalties last week. Mares was on in game week 4. Mares at the moment looks like a very good replacement. A lot of people are switching on to him. But then once Jesus and Aguero are back, Mares will not get as much as game time he'll get right now. For a short term outlook, yes, Mares is a good move. For a long term move, probably go to Barnes. Replacement for Warren, feel like a Vardy if you have the money. If you don't have the money, go to Ings or Jimenez. Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously, if you don't have the Everton attackers. Yes, definitely wait till the deadline. Mope or Trossard, I feel like Mope because of the penalties. Okay, coming back to the takeaways, we discussed Spurs versus Newcastle. City versus Leicester was all a very defensively very good setup by Leicester. They were attacking on the break, and Barnes was still in a very open position at times. So if someone, I feel like the best replacement to Son at the moment to downgrade and save money is Barnes. From the point of view of City, not much creation inside the box, not a lot of shots inside the box. So that was somewhere they lacked, and defensively Leicester were good. Definitely outplayed, two penalties given away cheaply. So nothing much to talk about. The West Ham Wolves game is something I missed, but then I looked up the highlights and Wolves were not convincing, and the left flank was really open. Vinagre was not the player they want at the moment. I think like if Podence is even 80% fit, they'll put in Podence because they need that attacking threat from the left. Samedo again could not gel up a lot with the team, so that's going to be taking a lot of time. Fulham Aston Villa was all attack one way, and Aston Villa were really convincing in that match. Fulham did have a lot of chances. They put in a lot of cross from the right for Mitrovic, but then again, it's only Mitrovic will score. Liverpool Arsenal, nothing to talk about. Liverpool were dominant. Arsenal scored the lucky goal because of Robertson. Robertson error, and if that would have not been done, I would expect a clean sheet. So definitely own Robertson or Trent in your team. Don't lose that opportunity. And a lot of people in the wildcard, for some reason, did take him out for Son. I mean, I feel like Robertson will end up having more points than Son at the moment. So don't invest your money in the midfield so much. At least have one Liverpool attacker, defender as usual, and then use the budget accordingly. Talking about game week 4, we'll take a couple of questions. Will Podence play against Fulham? If he's 80% fit, expect him to start. This says, I'm not picking any transfers this week. The season is a whole roller coaster ride. Saying my transfer looks good now, especially with your transfer plan when you want to invest in midfield and downgrade. I think Werner to Bamford. So probably you want Bamford against Bulls rather than City. So that's something you want to look at. Coming to the game week 4, don't expect a lot from game week 4. Point number 1, you know it's going to be a roller coaster ride. So just pick out your captain. Hopefully, the best captain shouts in this week are Manchester City players against Leeds. I feel like Wolves versus Fulham is still a very good fixture. Aston Villa versus Liverpool is tricky, but I would actually favor Mane or Salah in that kind of a game where Mane takes a lot of headers than rather than Salah, and from the left flank, Arsenal are still that not that strong. Chelsea Crystal, I feel like Chelsea will keep a clean. It should be an easy game for Chelsea. Crystal will not trouble Chelsea a lot. Everton Brighton is a very tough game to predict. Apart from the fact that I think Brighton will be caught down on the counter attack by the passes of James Rodriguez and the pace of Richarlison, Brighton could score another game where I don't see a clean sheet for Everton. Probably a clean sheet for Chelsea in the first game. uh, Leeds United versus City is going to be one-way traffic. Manchester City is going to flood them with attack. I feel like it's the game where Delap will start. Sterling in the first night was not that productive. I feel like Maris. There's a chance that either Foden or Maris could be benched depending on who plays more minutes in the midweek game. So watch out for that before making a Maris move. And I could see Delap starting up front with Sterling back to his left flank. That's where you want to look at Sterling as a captain option, because Sterling can score in such fixtures. Newcastle and Burnley. Newcastle are completely toothless, no attack whatsoever. Even if Saint is back on in place of Fraser, I don't see a lot of changes. So a very good chance of Burnley keeping a clean sheet. If you have Taylor, put him in your teams and probably hope for one clean sheet there. And you can target Newcastle, but then again, they're defensively well set up team, so they don't concede a lot of goals, but they don't attack as well. West Ham is going to be an open game, in my opinion. Both teams are going to attack as usual. West Ham have defensively improved a bit. I would like to give Moyes the credit because he made some tough decisions and he's come out to be good. Okay, we have It's Me Safe coming on the chat. And who do you think should I put captain and vice captain game week for? Put it either of Kevin De Bruyne and Salah. I feel like Kevin De Bruyne captain and Salah vice captain should be a better shout. Talking about Southampton West Brom, Southampton should be easily winning this game, but then their home record is poor. They defensively high line setup could be caught out on the counter attack through a pass from Pereira, but we'll have to see. Arsenal Sheffield one way game. Arsenal will dominate it. Aubameyang could score. Sheffield look defensively really poor. Well, someone asked on the Instagram page that should we go for Lacazette as a differential option, but then don't go for Lacazette if you want to go to an Arsenal asset. The only Arsenal asset you want to look at is either Tierney or Aubameyang, nothing else. Wolves Fulham, I expect Wolves to bounce back for sure at home. If you have Jimenez or Podence, hold on to them. Fulham again are toothless in attack. Don't expect them to score. Manchester United Spurs derby is a big game, so can't really predict a lot. But then again, Spurs have been hit by injuries, especially Son. Son is the biggest injury they could ever face because that's the only person who's creating and scoring those goals. So it's going to be a tough game. I think Mourinho will set up defensively than usual, and that could be the game for them. Aston Villa Liverpool, in my opinion, 2-0 game for Liverpool. Should be simple, probably 3-0 or 3-0. And we've also seen that Mane got subbed off for Diego Jota and Salah did not. So for the people who are asking Mane versus Salah, then that's another point that you want to look at, that Salah is getting much more game time than Mane. It is just 10 minutes at the moment, but then again, those 10 minutes are really important because Liverpool do score in the last 10 minutes. So another fact you want to look at, not any more talking points for at the moment. We'll be back with the deadline stream. I have made one change in my team. I've taken out Warner for Dominic Calvert-Lewin before the price drop or price rise. Aditya says, can Barnes haul this week? He will get a lot of chances. I haven't seen the extended highlights or the complete match for West Ham versus Wolves. Probably dig deep into the match, take the highlights, and see how the left flank for West Ham was. Because Wolves were not attacking from the left, they had no creativity from that side. So probably watch out for that. And once you have your answer, then Barnes could be a decent option because he's taking a lot of shots inside the box, where West Ham are poor actually. So yeah, one transfer for me. I'm not going to make a second transfer despite of Barnes being looking a very good prospect. I think Rodriguez could prove out to have a couple of assists this week, especially on the counter for Richarlison. We'll be back for the deadline stream. We might also have a special guest. So you want to subscribe to the channel if you haven't and hit the bell icon. Until the deadline stream. So this is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.